Tonight we're driving the 2024 BMW M3 CS. Not too long ago, we drove the M4 CSL. We took it out on track. Tonight we're going to be doing a night drive of this M3 CS. This is a little bit different from the M4 CSL. It's all-wheel drive for starters, and it's a little bit more comfortable. We have powered M carbon bucket seats, which are a lot more practical to live with and easier to sit in. Still lots of carbon fiber bits inside this interior for extra weight savings. We have a carbon fiber hood, roof, trunk lid, front splitter, rear diffuser, and just look at this thing. It's painted in signal green, which is a $4,500 paint option, and on these bronze wheels, I think this just looks insane. Michelin Pilot Sport Cup 2R tires, 275/35 R19s in the front. We have a staggered wheel setup with 285/30 R20s in the rear. Carbon ceramic brakes, an $8,500 option with gold calipers. What a spec, absolutely insane, I love it. Add in these amber DRLs and you have one of the most menacing looking M cars I think I've ever seen. Active exhaust, M Sport rear differential, little tiny carbon fiber rear spoiler, lots of carbon fiber reinforced plastic here, plenty of trunk space in the back of this M3, 40 folding rear seats. And I like how BMW has kept the traditional location for their toolkit. And instead of a toolkit now, you just get BMW roadside assistance and a phone number to call. Here's a peek at that carbon fiber roof. What a shapely thing. I've got to say, the design on this M3 is really starting to grow on me, and they have changed the grille a little bit on this new car. We'll go check that out a little bit more in a second, but first, let's take a look at the back seat. Back here, you get the best view of these carbon bucket seats. I have tons of room back here. I'm 5'10". This is my driving position. Love these red accents around the headrests on the seat. You can remove these bits for a little bit more room on the track for your helmet. Every time you get in and out of this car, you'll bump the steering wheel because of these huge side bolsters. USB-C port, wireless CarPlay, iDrive 8. Let's pop the hood. BMW's 3-liter S58 inline 6. Love the aluminum bracing. Lots of carbon fiber here. Super lightweight hood. Again, 543 horsepower, 479 pound-feet of torque, 15 miles to the gallon in the city, 22 on the highway. Surprisingly efficient for the performance that this thing puts out. And a bit more of a minimal looking front snoot. Okay, that's enough of a walk around. Let's go drive this thing. Carbon fiber mirror caps too. Oh boy. Not sure what that's all about. Active exhaust. Sounds pretty good. The rest of this interior is pretty straightforward, very driver focused. Of course tonight, because this is painted in signal green, we've got to have the green ambient lighting. We've gone over iDrive 8 at length in many different videos. Basically, all you need to know. A lot of controls are hidden in the screen, but I will give BMW credit. This at least feels like an infotainment from 2023, 2024. It's not super laggy, it's not super slow. We have iDrive controls, we have favorites, quick access menus. I mean, once you set everything up, it's pretty straightforward and easy to live with. It does take some getting used to. Lots of physical controls down here for drive modes. You can set your M1, your M2 modes. You can have different gauge cluster setups and displays, For track driving, you can turn everything off, which is nice. You've got four-wheel drive sport. You can put this into a two-wheel drive drift mode with DSC fully off. I have my M1 button set to pretty much everything in comfort, except for engine as in sport. M2 ramps things up a little bit, puts us into four-wheel drive sport, engine and sport plus. Everything else is in comfort. It's still a little bit chilly out tonight. 57 degrees Fahrenheit on these Cup 2Rs. And I think we're going to go full intense with the gearbox tuning here in M2 also. 3 levels of shift tuning here with this 8-speed automatic. All right, we'll start off everything in efficient and comfort, and we'll ramp things up from there. I love this Alcantara steering wheel. It's the right size, it's the right thickness. It feels high quality but sporty at the same time. Getting a taste here of our automatic high beams. The front end is razor sharp on these Michelin Cup 2Rs. Impacts are pretty rough. You get a lot of NVH through the cabin on these tires, but at least they have a little bit of sidewall, especially up front on the 19s. Carbon ceramic brakes feel awesome, really easy to modulate, good initial bite. Driven on some carbon ceramics recently that did not have good initial bite, and this M3 CS really feels good. They are an $8,500 option, which is expensive, but if you're going to be doing any type of track work, it's probably worth it. Starting price on this M3 CS, $118 grand, as tested, $132,000. Gotta pay to play, and it's a pretty good time. Tires. No better way to do that than getting hard on the brakes. There is some performance here. Suspension is very compliant in comfort mode. It's actually quite nice. Let's see what it feels like in sport. A little bit stiffer here. Just great inputs from this car. Steering feels a little bit better than the standard M3. Part of that, I'm sure, is just due to these tires and how connected they make you feel to the road. Very quick out of a corner. Lots of traction thanks to xDrive. Amazing headlight performance here too. Pretty good steering feel at the limit. I'm surprised. This is great. Every time I get into one of these CS models, I'm impressed with the steering feel, and I just wish they would do it on the rest of their cars. It proves that BMW can make a pretty good steering rack. It's just that they choose not to very often. But at least you can get it here on this M3 CS. It's not amazing, it's not chattering away, but it's quite good for a modern M car. I'm also just cruising, steady state cruising, getting quite a bit of feedback through the wheel. I can feel the texture of the road. There's some Nice levels of vibration. I'm getting a lot of information through this chassis. Through the brake pedal. I like that. I like that I can feel exactly what's going on in this M3 CS. Everything settles down beautifully. For how extreme this car looks, it's actually very comfortable to drive. Suspension is surprisingly soft. These seats are actually quite comfortable. I don't mind them one bit. A little bit tricky to get in and out of, but otherwise, pretty good seat. This 8-speed auto is good, but it still doesn't quite excite like the old DCT gearboxes did. It's just not as snappy or as quick and as engaging, honestly. Makes for a more comfortable transmission, a more durable gearbox, but at the same time, it lacks a little bit of personality. Ultimately, I think that's okay. I've got to say, some of these newer M cars are actually pretty good to live with, and I do think it makes it a more livable package day to day. I've got to be honest, this is probably my favorite M3 I've driven to date. It's really, really good, and it can do so much with the all-wheel drive system. You have all-weather capability, year-round traction, tons of confidence behind the wheel on this. Some heat into those Cup 2Rs. Wow. Really impressive performance. Ah, this is just a joy. What a car. Compared to a lot of Porsches these days, this feels like a bit of a bargain at $130,000. I could probably do without the color, save some money, but probably go with something a little bit more discreet. But wow. For night driving, I like that we get a physical dimmer switch here. We can change our screen brightness and it just changes everything, every display. Of course, you can disable or dim this ambient lighting, but we'll leave it on for this video. It does look cool. You can turn on and off our head-up display pretty easily. In our gauge cluster, we've got a couple different views here: reduced, standard, and directional. We'll just leave that as is. Regular old cruise control, nothing fancy there. Typically don't get adaptive cruise control in these BMW M3 press cars, but we do get lane keeping assist. We can turn that on and off. In the infotainment here, I've set it as a favorite. They don't really help too much in the fog. I like that BMW has still retained a shift lever here. I I like being able to downshift and upshift without always having to use the paddles. Especially nice to use if you're a little bit crossed up around a corner. What a beast. What a beast. Steering's a little bit lighter too in this M3 CS than it is in the standard M3, M4. I noticed that in the CSL, and I quite liked it. Got to try a launch control. God, I love these brakes. Brutal. Absolutely brutal. And it's amazing how quiet this thing gets. It settles down just beautifully. You can even turn off the active exhaust and it gets ultra quiet. I will say, once you get a little bit of temperature in this gearbox, it does speed up quite a bit. On a cold start though, it can be pretty lazy, but again, you got to get some temperature in this, and it performs pretty well. It's honestly hard to find fault with this gearbox. It is just so good. Would I have a manual in a car like this? I don't know. It's almost too fast. I like the manual in the M2. I'm not sure I like the manual in this new M4 as much. I like everything that BMW has done to this M3 CS. I think it looks amazing. All the carbon fiber parts are just so special. I like the steering feel. I think the price is reasonable for what you're getting. It's a very practical form factor with a four-door sedan. It sounds good, it performs well. I mean, honestly, if you're chasing lap times, this is only going to be marginally better than a standard M3. For the extra money, you're paying for cool factor. You're paying for options, you're paying for a special car. Something that drives a little bit better than the other M3, something that's a little bit more rare and less attainable. I think this M3 CS and the M5 CS that I drove last year are some of the best modern BMWs that I've spent time in. When BMW gets it right with their cars, they do a bang-up job. And this M3 CS is a testament to what is possible, what they're capable of. I really appreciate how easy this car is to use too. From engaging the cruise control to setting your M1 and M2 drive mode buttons. I mean, just a press of a button takes you to exactly the settings that you want for the given scenario. Paddle shifters work great. I love the adjustability here. Finally, BMW is making some M cars that give us driver feedback, and I think that is just so important. pull in here and wrap up this video. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. This has been a really fun week in the M3 CS. Hopefully we get some track time in one of these at some point, but if not, go check out our winding road day and night drives on this car, and that'll probably be it for now. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you guys later. Take care. Gotta love this spec. This is just incredible. Staggered wheels, the bronze finish, quad exhaust tips, all the carbon fiber. It really comes together. Even has the spec on the iDrive system when you start it up. That's pretty cool.